This is the listening activity for Chapter 11. I am on page 73, and we have two listening examples for each question. So we'll do brief listening examples, and then we will answer the questions. So we're starting off with the Kyrie. Okay, that was our Kyrie. Now we need to listen to the El Grillo. And that is El Grillo. Now, if we look at number one and it says the function, which one of these is secular music or popular music, and which one is sacred, used for religious ceremonies? B, El Grillo, if you just look at the title, it says the cricket. I don't know of too many religions that would use the cricket in church music, maybe in other religious ceremonies. But B, the Renaissance music, El Grillo, is secular music, and the Middle Ages, the Kyrie, which is a piece from the actual Mass, is for sacred movement. Looking at the actual movement part of question one, we have non-metric and we have duple meter, or 2/4 time, 2 beats per every measure. A, the Kyrie, we've discussed this before, is a non-metric piece, which leaves B, El Grillo, to be the duple meter or the 2/4 time. If you look at texture, we have polyphonic, which has many voices, and we have monophonic, which has one voice. Again, we talked about the Kyrie being monophonic, which leaves the El Grillo to be polyphonic. Looking at the performance, we have men's courses, a men's course and a women's course. I think that was pretty clear. The Renaissance piece is men, and the Middle Ages was the women's voices. And then if we look at the harmony, where they have the consonant and then they have no harmony, well, if you have a monophonic texture with one line, you will have no harmony. So A, the Kyrie, has no harmony, which leaves B to have the consonant harmony, the Renaissance piece. Turning to page 74, we are going to listen to Purcell and then Tchaikovsky. So close your eyes for a second. I'm moving down. Here is the Purcell piece, A Rondeau, which is a dance. Oh, wait. Oh, interesting. They have different listenings in the book. Here we go. Okay, that was our Purcell piece. I'm hoping some of you remember hearing a little bit of that before. This is the actual piece of music that Benjamin Britten took his theme for A Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra. All right, now we are going to pair this with Tchaikovsky's March from the Nutcracker. Okay, now we'll go back and discuss some of the questions. So for question number 2, we have instruments. The piece that focused on the string family was Purcell's piece, the Rondeau. And D, the Tchaikovsky piece, exchanges between various instruments. They went back and forth from strings to brass. When you look at the movement, a stately triple meter or 3/4 time, 1, 2, 3, that was Purcell's piece, the dance-like piece, and a sprightly quadruple meter or 4/4 time, 1, 2, 3, 4, was the march from Tchaikovsky. If you're looking for the timbre, now remember this is the particular sound that instruments give off. So the brilliant modern string sound was Tchaikovsky. The strings were very bright, very lively. And if you were listening to the Purcell, it gave more of a silvery, soft, what they call the early strings. Sometimes these organizations will actually use reproductions of early instruments. So it gives a warmer sound to the instrument. So that's timbre. The first one, D, Tchaikovsky, was brilliant. And the second one, C, Purcell, was the silvery. If you look on at the harmony, C is for the main first theme in minor, and D, the Tchaikovsky, was the first theme in major. Now we are going to listen to a symphony by Haydn and an interlude by Caton. Here is the symphony. Okay, and now we will listen to the interlude. And that was a little bit of the interlude. Obviously, there was a drastic difference between the classical period and the late 20th century period. Looking at melody, we have a prominent melody that was obviously from Haydn's symphony, and the melody was somewhat obscured. That was from the interlude by Caton. Looking at harmony, highly dissonant, that would be the late 20th century piece, the interlude. And predominantly consonant, that would be the classical piece, Haydn's piece, the symphony. If you're looking at timbre, the consistent orchestral sound was definitely the symphony, Haydn's symphony, and the changing of the instrumental timbres was the interlude by Caton. If you look at the range, the wide range lines, that was definitely the interlude, and the moderate range lines was the symphony. And the movement, a regular duple meter, something that you could count 1, 2, 1, 2, was the symphony, and an irregular or a mixed meter would definitely be the interlude or the Caton piece. And finally, expression. Highly dramatic would definitely be the interlude, and moderately dramatic would be the symphony. Now we are going to listen to two pieces. The first one from China, In a Mountain Path, and the second one from Iran. I cannot even begin to pronounce that title. Let's scoot all the way down here. In a Mountain Path. now we shall listen to the piece from Iran. And those are our two non-Western pieces of music. If we look at the movement in question number 4, we have non-metric and free. That was the piece from Iran. And the regular melody, something that you could dance to, would be the piece from China. If you're looking at the melody, the tuneful focus on melody was In a Mountain Path. It was something that you could sing along to. And short melodic tunes would be the one from Iran. The timbre, struck strings only. That was what you heard in the Iran piece. If anybody knows what a hammered dulcimer is, it was a similar instrument that they were playing on. They actually had soft felt hammers that they would tap on the strings. And G, bowed or struck strings, like a pizzicato, that was in the piece from China. And then special effects uses a tremolo. Remember, a tremolo is just one pitch that moves very fast. Think of a very fast vibrato. That was the piece from Iran. And the piece from China used sliding between pitches or glissandos between pitches. Okay, finally, we're going to listen to the two more pieces, the Sleep Song from the Hopi Indians and Amazing Grace, which I think everybody has sung at least once in their life. That was our lullaby, and let's do Amazing Grace. Okay, and that was Amazing Grace. If you look at melody, they have regular phrases and irregular phrases. It was quite obvious that Amazing Grace has its regular phrases. Everybody knows where to pause and put the breath. So the irregular phrase was the sleep song. For performance, a solo song or an accompanied song, that one was pretty obvious. You only heard the one voice with the lullaby. For the movement, a regular triple meter or a 3/4 time signature where you felt 3 beats per every measure, that was for Amazing Grace. And the irregular movement was the lullaby. That one was pretty obvious. You could feel a beat, but it wasn't always very secure. The range, a small range of pitches. If you remember from way back in the listening, the lullaby is a tritonic piece of music, only has 3 pitches. The form, highly repetitive, variation and contrast. The variation and contrast refers to the Amazing Grace. And finally, function. The devotional song is Amazing Grace, and the secular song is the lullaby. This concludes the listening activity.